Last night we got some very interesting news. It actually broke during Game 5 between the Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. Jeremy Rutherford, who covers the St. Louis Blues for The Athletic, reported that Vladimir Tarasenko has requested a trade. And it didn't take long after that for numerous other outlets and sources to start reporting on this and confirmed it as well. So this now throws yet another wrench into the 2021 NHL offseason. We got the expansion draft, we have a potential Jack Eichel trade looming, a potential Seth Jones trade, and now maybe a Vladimir Tarasenko trade. This year's offseason has all the makings of being one of the most entertaining offseasons we have seen in a very long time, probably since the offseason where Subban was traded for Weber on the same day that Hall was traded for Larson. And listen, I'm all here for it. I love trades. I love chaos. Now, in Rutherford's original report, there was a lot of other information as well that I want to go over. He gave the reason for Vladimir Tarasenko requesting a trade. He named off some teams that Tarasenko would be willing to get traded to, because Tarasenko does have a no trade clause built into his contract, so St. Louis can't just trade him wherever they want. But before we go over the teams that Vladimir Tarasenko would be willing to get traded to, let's talk about the reason as to why Tarasenko has requested a trade. According to Rutherford, Tarasenko is upset with the team's handling of his shoulder surgeries in 2018 and in 2019, which were handled by team physicians, leading to a lack of trust with the organization. The winger then went to a doctor that was not affiliated with the team at the Stedman Clinic in Edwards, Colorado for his third operation after ligament damage that wasn't found in the first two surgeries was seen by the clinic. So the gist of it is Vladimir Tarasenko is unhappy with how St. Louis handled his multiple shoulder surgeries, and trust between him and the team has kind of been fractured. So that is reportedly the reason why Vladimir Tarasenko wants out of St. Louis. It's definitely giving me Jack Eichel and Buffalo Sabres vibes, where Jack Eichel voiced his displeasure with how the Sabres handled his injury in his exit interview. So now let's go over the teams that were listed in Jeremy Rutherford's article that Vladimir Tarasenko would apparently be willing to get traded to. The Tampa Bay Lightning, big surprise there, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the New York Islanders, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Washington Capitals, the Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Florida Panthers. What is something that all of those teams have in common? They all made the playoffs this year, and that is to be expected. At Tarasenko's age, why would he want to go to a rebuilding team? I'm sure he still wants to contend. Some interesting teams on that list for sure. The New York Islanders, I think, would be a really good fit, a team that, really lacks that high-end scoring punch, and with Tarasenko being one of the most lethal finishers in the league, I think he'd be a nice addition to that team. The Montreal Canadiens are another team on that list that really intrigues me. Like the Islanders, they kind of lack that high-end scoring punch. I mean, they got shut out in Game 5 last night, do or die. They couldn't score a goal. And also, we know Marc Bergevin, he's not shy, let's just say that. After seeing his team go to the Stanley Cup Finals, maybe he views Tarasenko as a piece that could put them over the top. Also, of the teams listed, Montreal has the most projected cap space this offseason, so that's something to think about as well. So of the teams listed, the Islanders, Montreal, those are the two teams that jumped off the screen at me the most. If I had to make a prediction on where I think Tarasenko will end up, I think I'd probably go with one of those two. Now that I went over all the reports, to finish out the video, I kind of just want to talk about Vladimir Tarasenko, the player. Like I said earlier in the video, Tarasenko is one of the most lethal finishers in the league. This is a guy who from 2014 to 2019 had a string of 5 consecutive 30-goal seasons, one of which he actually broke the 40-goal mark. He had 3 straight 70-plus point seasons in there as well. So just by saying that, you would think that this guy shouldn't be hard to trade. There should be a ton of interest in him, and I definitely do think there will be a lot of interest in Tarasenko. I just don't know if there's going to be a lot of teams out there willing to give up a big package for him, and I feel like St. Louis is probably going to have a relatively high asking price. My reason for saying that is because we haven't seen much of Tarasenko over the past couple of seasons. The past 2 seasons combined, he's played 34 total regular season games. He's only scored 7 goals in those games as well, and that's definitely concerning for a guy who's, going to be turning 30 in December. He basically has like a reconstructed shoulder now after all of those surgeries. There is a significant amount of risk trading for a guy like Vladimir Tarasenko at this point, coming off of all those injuries, and depending on the asking price, I don't know how many teams out there are going to be willing to take that risk. And I say depending on the asking price because it's a lot easier to take a risk on a player if you don't have to give up some crazy package to bring him in. Now, to kind of counter the fact that all of these injuries have definitely taken a big chunk out of Tarasenko's trade value, something that I think increases his value is the fact that he has a pretty fair contract, and if Tarasenko can somehow get back to being the Tarasenko from 2016 and 2017, it's actually a really good contract. He's got a cap hit of $7.5 million and is only signed through the 2022-23 season. So if you trade for Tarasenko and maybe things don't work out, he's not able to get back to playing at an elite level, it's not like you're going to be stuck with one of the worst contracts in the league for the next 7-8 years. But that is pretty much going to do it for for today's video. I didn't want to spend too much time on this because I did talk about Vladimir Tarasenko and a potential trade on the channel like a week ago, but now that it's 100% confirmed that Tarasenko did in fact request a trade, I figured it would be worth a quick video. I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say though. What do you think Vladimir Tarasenko's trade value is right now? If you're a fan of one of the teams that he listed that he would accept a trade to, would you be okay with your team, giving up a significant amount of assets to bring Tarasenko in, or is that something that you would prefer your team stay away from? And if you have any mock trades, you can leave them down below in the comment section as well.